Hello, I want to make a demo video of how to plot the symmedian point of a triangle, which is something that comes up when we are trying to find the most accurate or the most likely position with three lines of position. So let me start. I'm just going to draw a triangle. Actually, I'm going to have to measure the sides. Well, no, that's kind of cheating. I'm going to say, okay, there's one side of the triangle, and this is the another side of the triangle over here, and then this is the third side of the triangle over here. So there we have three lines of position. They could be bearing fixes, celestial sites, anything that gave us three lines on the chart. And then I'm just going to label the corners, A, B, and C. And the convention is opposite angle A is called little a, the side length. Opposite of B is B, that's the side length of that one. And this is C over here. And then so we're going to have to, and again, I'm doing it the traditional way, and then I'm going to come back in another video and have a much faster way. So, but first of all, let's start this out and measure these the length of these triangles, the sides. So this one looks like it's 3 point, get it there. Okay, that's 3.567, let's call that 3.7. So the halfway mark of 3.7 would be 1.5 plus 0.3, about 1.8 or so. So let's call that 1.85. Here's 1.8, about right here. So I'm going to say that's a halfway between these two. And then we draw the line from this vertex to that midpoint, and that line there is called the median of that angle. And now we want with a bisector of that angle. So then, let's see, I've got to measure what angle this is, and I can do that here maybe. Let me put that on here, right on the corner, and see that's all lined up. And so, right on, is that right? 10, 20, 30. So that's 30 degrees, and half of 30 is 15. 15 is right there. I want to right about there, 15. And so then that's turns out to be real close, makes it a little trickier, but anyway, this line then is the bisector of this angle. So this line is the bisector. And now what I want to do is reflect the median over the top of the bisector. So I line up on the bisector, which is here like this, and let me go up here. Let me just move it to that some even. Okay, that looks pretty. I can't see without bumping the camera, but it may be something like here. So look, when I'm sitting lined up exactly on the bisector, this line, the median is 2 to the right, 2 to the left, so it'll be over here, 2 to the right, which will be about here. So then I draw a line to that line here, like that, and that line is the symmedian line of that angle. Now we have to do the same thing again. Let's do down to here, and so we get that length is 7 point. Well, it's about 7.4. 7.4. So that's 3.5, 3.7, 3.567 is right here. 3.7. Okay, and so we go from here to here. That's the median of that line, a median of B. And now You see that's about 3.7, That's about 3.7. Okay, now we have to bisect that angle. So let's see what it is. If I did it this way, do I get any better? No. Okay, let me go up here and line this up right here. And that angle is here. And that is, I gotta be careful I read this right. That's 90. It looks like 90, here's 100, it's 98. So that angle is 98. Half of that would be 45 plus 4, 49, which is right here. Okay, so this is then the bisector of that angle, like the bisector of that angle. So this angle equals that angle. Now I want to reflect the median over the bisector. Let's see, how can I do that? Let's go on here. Oh, okay, so I'm on that line. There, I'm all lined up here pretty. Now, there are graphical ways to do this where you swing arcs and then divide the arc in half and so forth, and you get really precise answers. But for what we're doing now, this is good enough. So that's 6 units here, so I'll go 6 units over here, and presumably that reflects this median over this is a bisector for B, and we're going to reflect that over here. And that looks like here to here, and that goes like that. Now, and that's a symmedian for that angle. Where is this here, here? So in principle, that's the symmedian point right there of the triangle. So just 2 of them do it. But since this is so much fun, let's do, what was B? Oh, I forget now. It was, let me just write this down. It was 7. I'll come back and measure it next time. Doesn't matter. Okay, so we got to measure the length of this one, and that's reading 5.9. Yeah, 5.9. And half of 5.9 would be 2.5, 2.9. So I'm coming up here to 2.9, which is right here. And this is now the median of A. And now I want to bisect A. Let me read what angle that is. How do I do that best? Maybe like, oh, this line has to be a little bit longer. Okay, bisect A. Okay, bisect A. And that's there, and that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I'm going to call it 50. Well, no, these are pretty accurate tools here. 50, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to call it 53 degrees. So 53, that'd be 25, 26 and a half. 26 and a half, 10, 26. No, 10, 26 and a half is here. You see, you actually can read half a degree with these triangles. That's why people like them. And so this now here is the bisector of A. Okay, now, where am I? Where's the meridian of A? Here's the meridian of A, which I have to reflect over the bisector. So I'm going to just line that up. Whoa, where am I? What's going on with all these lines? Here's the bisector. I'm going to reflect. Wait a minute. Here's the median. That's why you're going to like the other method a lot better. Wait a minute. This is a halfway point here. I should have labeled those a little better. I'll check it again here. Now that is about 5.8, that's 2.52. So this is the median here. That's the median. And then here's the bisector. So I've got to reflect this line over the top of that one. So let me just go here and get some kind of even. Okay, that's like a 6.2. No, wait a minute. That's 5.2. And here's 5.2 is here. So this is where we want to reflect that, like that. Oh, of course, I should have just looked here. That we're just confirming that that is a symmedian. Okay, so that's a symmedian. Sorry. Okay, that is a symmedian, and that's the way it works. And you also see that this is a really kind of tedious way to go about it. So let me finish here. That's that. That's what I want to show here. Now I want to come back in another video and show a better way to do it. Okay, thanks. Bye.